Welcome, friends! Today, join us for an exciting Bible quiz titled, Who is the First Person in the Bible? We've got 20 multiple choice questions for you. Hit the like button, share with friends, and subscribe for more quizzes. Keep track of your score, comment below, and let's dive into the quiz together. Question 1. Who was the first person to be martyred for their faith? Option A, Stephen. Option B, James. Option C, Peter. Option D, Paul. The right answer is option A, Stephen. Question 2. Who was the first person to be called a prophet? Option A, Elijah. Option B, Moses. Option C, Abraham. Option D, Elisha. The right answer is option C, Abraham. Question 3. Who was the first person to be anointed as king of Israel? Option A, Rehoboam. Option B, David. Option C, Solomon. Option D, Saul. The right answer is option D, Saul. Question 4. Who was the first person to be exiled to Babylon? Option A, Daniel. Option B, Zedekiah. Option C, Jehoiachin. Option D, Ezekiel. The right answer is option C, Jehoiachin. Question 5. Who was the first person to return from exile to Jerusalem? Option A, Nehemiah. Option B, Zerubbabel. Option C, Ezra. Option D, Mordecai. The right answer is option B, Zerubbabel. Question 6. Who was the first person to be called an apostle? Option A, Peter. Option B, John. Option C, James. Option D, Andrew. The right answer is option D, Andrew. Question 7. Who was the first person to be called a priest? Option A, Aaron. Option B, Melchizedek. Option C, Abraham. Option D, Isaac. The right answer is option A, Aaron. Question 8. Who was the first person to be resurrected from the dead? Option A, Lazarus. Option B, Jairus' daughter. Option C, Jesus. Option D, the widow of Nain's son. The right answer is option C, Jesus. Question 9. Who was the first person to see Jesus after he was resurrected? Option A, Thomas. Option B, Peter. Option C, John. Option D, Mary Magdalene. The right answer is option D, Mary Magdalene. Question 10. Who was the first Christian martyr? Option A, Paul. Option B, James. Option C, Peter. Option D, Stephen. The right answer is option D, Stephen. Question 11. Who was the first person to be healed by Jesus? Option A, the blind man. Option B, the leper. Option C, the paralytic. Option D, the woman with the issue of blood. The right answer is option B, the leper. Question 12. Who was the first person to be called a warrior? Option A, Caleb. Option B, Joshua. Option C, David. Option D, Goliath. The right answer is option B, Joshua. Question 13. Who was the first person to be called a disciple? Option A, Andrew. Option B, Peter. Option C, John. Option D, James. The right answer is option A, Andrew. Question 14. Who was the first person to be called a farmer? Option A, Noah. Option B, Eve. Option C, Adam. Option D, Abraham. The right answer is option C, Adam. Question 15. Who was the first person to be called a prophet? Option A, Elisha. Option B, Moses. Option C, Elijah. Option D, Abraham. The right answer is option D, Abraham. Question 16. Who was the first person to be called a king? Option A, Solomon. Option B, David. Option C, Saul. Option D, Rehoboam. The right answer is option C, Saul. Question 17. Who was the first person to be called a judge? Option A, Deborah. Option B, Othniel. Option C, Gideon. Option D, Samson. The right answer is option B, Othniel. Question 18. Who was the first person to be called a shepherd? Option A, Jacob. Option B, Moses. Option C, David. Option D, Abel. The right answer is option D, Abel. Question 19. Who was the first person to be resurrected by Jesus in the New Testament? Option A, the widow of Nain's son. Option B, Jairus' daughter. Option C, Lazarus. Option D, the son of a centurion. The right answer is option A, the widow of Nain's son. Question 20. Who was the first person to be murdered? Option A, Cain. Option B, Abel. Option C, Adam. Option D, Eve. The right answer is option B, Abel.